Welcome to Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite.
Hey guys, Alicia here with Working Dog Radio, Torchlight Canine, and Oil Capital Canine Fund. I'd like to say thank you guys for listening to us for the past 6 years. That would not be possible without you and without our sponsors. We want to say thanks to Ray Allen Manufacturing. They've been a longtime partner of ours. They're friends of ours. We do equipment with them. We use their equipment every day. Ray Allen, the letter K, the number 9, on socials, Ray Allen Canine. Please check them out at rayallen.com. If you guys are looking to go to a conference this year, it has to be none other than HITS Canine Conference. They're going to be in New Orleans, 2024, from August 26th to the 29th. If you guys are interested in going, and you should be, please contact Jeff Barrett at 863-529-5113 or check him out at hits, the letter K, the number 9.net. Everybody wants to feed their dog well, and if you're feeding them kinetic, you are. It takes the guesswork out of it. They've got some new supplements coming, some new flavors coming. We're going to have some previews for you. Please tune in for that. KineticDogFood.com, 513-615-6904. Check them out. American aluminum products save dogs' lives. All of our officers use their canine inserts. They also make some really nice rad crates and a lot of other things, including training aids. Check them out. American Aluminum Accessories on the socials. You can call them toll free, 800-277-0869, or email them for a quote at quotes@aaa-mail.com. Horizon Structures is a one-stop shop for your dog kennels. If you guys are serious about this and you're getting into it, you need space for dogs, give them a call, 888-447-4337. From mild to wild, let your imagination go. They can make it and drop it off at your door. Horizon Structures. And we would really like it if you guys would follow us on our new YouTube, Working Dog Radio YouTube. You're going to be able to see our pretty faces. You're going to be able to see our ads and our guests. We're going to have some really cool training videos. We're going to release podcasts earlier in that avenue. So please join us on our YouTube. We really appreciate you. Thank you for listening.
All right, everybody, we are back. Working Dog Radio, broadcasting the bite from Hold the Line Conference here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Day 2, the final day. It is 11:20 in the morning. So the classes, there's 6 instructors at a time going on. Good turnout. Everything's going well, rocking and rolling. Still, so far, everybody seems to have stayed. I don't know what the afternoon is going to look like, but did pretty well. There's a lot to do within walking distance around here in Myrtle Beach, so it's been all right. I used to live here years ago. It looks nothing like where I used to live. I lived right down the street, actually, a condo that is now doesn't exist. It's Broadway at the beach is there. So with me as always, all the way to the end here is Ted Summers from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Ted, how's it been here? What do you got going on?
It's been really good. There's been some new instructors here and people that I haven't seen before, and then some guys that has been around that I haven't seen. Like we had Bradshaw on, and he hasn't been at many conferences lately because he's been dealing with some other stuff like at Tar Heel, getting things going on, different things going on there, but he's back to travel and back to similar thing. And he's like, it's good to be back. And his class was pretty well attended. And then a new instructor that we've got on right now was teaching a class. When I looked at the class description, I was like, this ought to be interesting. And I've interacted with him for years on social media. So when I saw that he was instructing, I'm like, this ought to be an interesting interview, because the detection side, even though like I'm known for apprehension work, right, because of HRD and like whatever else, every time I do a seminar at like HRDs and guys ask me detection things, I'm like, they're shocked. They're like, oh, you know how to train detection dogs? I'm like, bro, I have to. Like, I train police dogs. Yeah. I mean, their only job is to find stuff. I mean, I sell a ton of single purpose detection dogs. Mm-hmm. So like police dog trainers have to be good detection work. So this podcast, this episode is with Bill Gaskins from Integrity Nose Work out in Jersey. So Bill, how are you, man?
Good, man. Thank you guys for having me on. It's awesome.
Yeah. Give us just a little bit of your background real quick, and then we can start talking about the presentation you had here at the show.
So I was a military working dog for the Air Force. So I did that military working dog handler from 92 till when I retired in 13. from that point, I went through our trainer course a couple of times. So in 97, then again in 04, trained at Fort Dix, New Jersey. So that was where I did most of my instructor training at. So I did that from 99 to 03, and then came back after deploying to Iraq in 09. Worked a training center there where we started a 42-day long canine training program for certifying explosive detector dogs going to Afghanistan and Iraq. Did all that, retired in 2013, didn't do dogs for a few years. I'm a civil service employee now for the Air Force. And about 2016, I started training pet dogs. And then somebody approached me about this crazy scent work sport thing where I was training pet dogs from Papillons onto Leon burgers, how to find essential oils on a Q-tip. I thought they were nuts at first. Then I went and watched a couple of trials and got hooked. So did some AKC Scent Work in the National Association of Canine Scent Work. I'm a judge for both, certified nose work instructor, and just love detection. I loved it a lot before I retired, but that's what I do now as a side hustle.
So the class you're talking about here, so the class title is like, you're talking about the OODA loop. And when I read it originally, I was like, is that like a Asian noodle is what I thought it was. I was like, what is this? What's he talking about? So go ahead and like give us the class description, and then we can start talking the curriculum that you got going on.
Right on. So yeah, applying the OODA loop to scent detection work. That's what I was trying to do. So Boyd's loop, or the OODA loop, is basically a situational awareness tool. And so what I've been finding a lot with pet dogs is that the handlers don't know how to kind of join the hand or the dog in the search, and how they have to be aware of what they're doing. And it's something we taught a lot getting ready for Afghanistan because of the number of IEDs there. Situational awareness as a handler is huge in the explosive world. You guys know that. And so it's one of those things that you take for granted, but then taking it and applying to scent detection, because you guys use it in police work all the time. Because I was military policeman, so it's a different customer base. But the real is that look, I want to be safe when I'm searching. So when you get out of a vehicle, downrange, you're trying not to step on something to go boom. You're trying to make sure the dog doesn't go boom. And so the idea is really joining your dog in the search, the importance of hide placements, driving handler behavior as much as it does dog behavior, stuff like that.
Hey guys, Alicia with Working Dog Radio here again. I wanted to take a moment to talk about one of our newest sponsors, someone that we are super, super happy with and glad to have aboard, somebody that we have known since they literally got into the game. Aiden and Jesse from Rex Specs literally made a product so that they could enjoy life with their dog. Their dog suffered from panis, and they wanted to take their dog skiing. And they went out and they made goggles that fit their dog. And now they make products for your dog, my dog, and everybody's dog. And we've watched them grow, and we are so proud of them and proud to know them. All their products are American made. They are supporting us who support them. These goggles are UV protectant. They protect your dog's eyes from dust, from particles, from anything that could get in the way if you take your dog to the range. One of the products that Ted and I use most often is their Ear Pro. They have Canine Ear Pro. It pulls over your dog's head and it protects their ears. So if you go to the range, you're doing gunfire acclimation, whatever you're doing, those things work great. They have leashes. They have all kinds of cool stuff. You really need to check them out. And we are very glad to have them aboard and very proud of their products. We do have some. We will give some away. Keep watching for us. If you check them out on the socials, it's at Rex Specs, SPECS, the letter K, the number 9, and also rexspecs.com. If you use the discount code Working Dog Radio, all one word and all lowercase, you'll get 20% off your first order.
When you were there overseas, so when I went to California with Cobra Canine and did the SEAL dogs, in 13, it was pressure plates. That was the big worry. Did you have that, or was it remote in 09?
It was pressure plates.
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing we'd do is we'd take, tire inner tubes, hacksaw blades, and create the initiator, the pressure plate itself. And then we would put hides adjacent to it. So deliberate offset.
Yeah.
And so you're searching, like if you're searching a culvert, at one point we were just looping around and the culvert would go boom as you're doing route clearance because you stepped on the pressure plate and the actual explosive wasn't underneath the culvert. It was targeting the handlers. And so then we'd change all of our tactics according to that. So we did a lot of stuff like that where the handlers would have to see indicators, disturbed earth, things like that. And so it's things that I think, and not the politics of it, but the open border thing, there's going to be a point where those tactics come across the border. They co-teach with folks in Afghanistan. They come back to Mexico. Now they come across. And so I just think that's kind of how I geared the presentation, is how important a particular explosive dog handler needs to kind of look at the whole totality of the circumstance.
I've always said, if you think IEDs aren't coming to this country, you are out of your mind.
Absolutely.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And we talked about that before too, when we had on, I think Paul from Paul. And, we talk about all of the explosive stuff that's happened in the United States. And I can't remember the last time we had something with a conventional explosive. Everything has been HME. Even the federal building in Oklahoma City was 9 gazillion pounds of ANFO. Yeah. And it was a Ryder truck full, however much that was. I don't remember, but I see
365 pounds or something.
Barrels.
It was a lot. And I see explosive handlers a lot, lean training on like C4 and Simtex. The one thing that the ATF has managed to do well is keep those conventional explosives out of the hands of people that don't need it. So the same thing, like we had Ellie Zussman on from Signature Science. I mean, that was a very eye-opening episode. I don't even remember, that was back in the early,
it was a while ago.
It was like 5 or 6 years ago. So in terms of creating some situational awareness, how can we do this for narcotics handlers too? Because we have some new cases that come out from Idaho and from West Virginia where the handler intervening, in one case, not necessarily, and especially in the one in West Virginia, not necessarily being aware situationally of what the dog is doing, created an issue.
Breaking the threshold of the window.
Put his nose right there.
And created a vacated sentence. So what would the advice be for the handlers that are doing this training, like our narcotics guys? Because, I mean, obviously there's not a danger like there is with explosives, but there is like a Fourth Amendment problem. And then if we're dealing with fentanyl, there is an exposure danger. But outside of narcotics, like that's really the only danger sort of from getting fucking hit by a car.
Right.
But I mean, so go ahead and talk about that a little bit.
I'm lucky enough to have, we were talking before we started about a good mentors. And so one of my good mentors is a guy named Doug Johnson. He's a lawyer out in Utah, and he helped start the Certified Pet Dog Trainer Knowledge Assess program. What Doug always used to say is, remember recognition, prime decision making. So when you think about the science of that, it's really simple. Exposing the dog and the handler to situations they'll see on patrol. So now with the West Virginia case, the way that you do that is you make sure you start that in training and you see what the dog's tendencies are. And then that way you understand, kind of like in what you were talking about this morning in your presentation, getting the dog ready to go to anticipate not only what the dog's expectations are, but being clear for the handler. Where's the breaking point where the dog comes up off the ground with its paws or breaks that thing? You have to start to train that. You have to do it outside of odor. You have to do it outside of that thing. So that's kind of where it starts. See what your dog's natural tendency is. Because I would imagine that a lot of handlers are going to start, hey, what's my dog going to do? Will my dog put their nose up on the window? Stuff like that.
Yeah, because there's what's the Supreme Court case that said if the dog does it himself, it's okay. But now they're going against that. Yep. And that's why I think Idaho and West Virginia is headed to the Supreme Court, because we already told you it's okay.
Right.
But the guy, we were talking to the guy last night, he said in West Virginia there's a case where the dog did the same thing, and that court said it's okay because of the Supreme Court ruling. I can't remember the case that it is.
The new one is U.S. versus Corbett. So
yeah, right. Yeah, we know that.
I don't remember what the old one is. I'd have to look it up. Of course, I don't have my shit in front of me, but I mean, yeah.
So when you're seeing that and you're working that outside of odor and you're doing that, what does that look like when you're training the handlers on that?
Sure. I mean, the pet dog community, and this is interesting. So the pet scent work community, when they do vehicle searches, the dogs can't interact with the vehicle. They're not allowed to put their paws on the vehicle. They're not allowed to do any of those things. So they only search the exteriors of the vehicle. So I think there's an application for this. It's kind of like, arousal capping things where the dog, when they start to interact with it, they understand, hey, look, like that thing's not fun to interact with. Mom or dad is going to put some pressure on me to keep me from doing that. And you kind of figure out, again, what the dog's natural tendency is. And so you do those little things where you mark the behaviors and you shape the behaviors that you want to see as they're interacting with it. Same thing with a box. I do indirect reinforcement stuff. I'm not here to debate that for a lot of folks. But what I like about it is it's clear to the dog, hey, look, you can interact with things. That's cool. But don't get aggressive and poke at it or do other things. And so the more you do that, I'm a big Dave Croyer guy. So I like a lot of the targeting things that he would introduce in the early level for the dog. And so it's nice to bring that in. And that's how I think I would do it. Yeah. When we were, IED environment's a completely different thing. But when it just comes to our narcotics dogs interacting with things, I want them to know, hey, look, this is the criteria. Don't do that.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening to us for the past 6 years. It would not be possible without our sponsors. And one of our longest time sponsors, in fact, our longest time sponsor, is Tactical Police Canine, Aaron and Jason Ferguson. They are amazing. They've been amazing to us, and they are amazing to this industry. They have a new online series that is for law enforcement only. And law enforcement guys, you know how important it is to keep up on your practices and your education. This one is for you. It's a canine criminal interdiction series, and it is literally for you guys to expand your knowledge on canine usage during traffic stops and interdiction work. It's going to cover things like roadside interview techniques, identifying traps and hidden compartments, related case law and record keeping strategies. You name it, it is in this course, and you need to have it. If you go to their website, tacticalpolicecaninetraining.com, and you use their discount code NARC, all caps, you will get 20% off any of their online courses. Check them out. Dogtra. We use so many Dogtra products that it's hard to even tell you where we begin. All of our canine get a Dogtra e-collar. We use the 1900 black, and all of our pets get a 200C. All of our canines use bark collars. We have their ball training systems. We've even bought a quail launcher from them. We use bungee collars. You name it. If it goes on your dog's neck, we get it at Dogtra. Dogtra has been great to us through the years. We love their sponsorship. We love their products. I order them every single week. If you go to dogtra.com, you can use the discount code WDR10. You'll get 10% off a single item over $200. You can also check out Dogtra Official for their socials and follow them there and see what other products that they're coming out with, because they innovate every day. Dogtra.com. Rex-Specs Canine. I'm so excited that these guys came aboard. I stalked them for years. Yes, I did, and unapologetically so. They make amazing products. I love nothing more than seeing a tiny little Chihuahua wearing the googly eye Rex-Specs. But they don't just make fun products. They make serious products that actually help dogs. These Rex-Spec goggles have a UV rating of 400. They keep the UV rays off of your dog's eyes. They also protect your dog from getting debris, dust, dirt, sticks, seeds, rocks, anything in their eyes. And then something that Ted and I use at the kennel every single week without fail is Rex-Spec's Ear Pro. You slide it over the dog's head. It's easy to use. And most importantly, it actually protects your dog's hearing. You guys can check them out if you have a search and rescue dog, a pet dog, an active dog, a service dog, a hunting dog. Go to rexspecs.com, check out all their products. Rex-Specs Canine on the socials. If you use Working Dog Radio, all lowercase, on their website as a discount code, you will get 20% off. American Aluminum has been in business since 1992. They have been making so many things for law enforcement. It is not even funny. They make great things for the canine industry, such as canine inserts that actually saves dogs' lives in wrecks, and much, much more. I don't know if you guys listened to the episode on Canine Corporal, but please do so. It is an amazing episode that really talks about the value of what their products do. American Aluminum makes things that you might not even know that they make, like inmate transport systems, canine training aids, canine inserts, contraband containment, animal control systems, and the list goes on. American Aluminum makes great products here in America, and it is a fantastic company to get to know. You can call them at 800-277-0869. You can get a quote if you go to quotes at aaa-mail.com and ask them for a quote. They will be glad to oblige. Please tell them that we sent you. Arnaud at ALM Canine Equipment has been one of our longest time friends. 13 years ago, Arnaud made a suit for Ted. We call it his Whoopee, and he still has this suit, and it is still the only suit that he wears. We have had this thing re-sleeved about 6 times. It's ridiculous. It smells like a dead body, and he wears it all the time. much to my chagrin. But it is just a testament to how amazing of a product that Arnaud makes. He comes up with his own color combinations. You can get something custom. He hand sews it. Reach out to him at almcanineequipment.com. Check him out on Instagram at almcanineequipment. If you guys need a canine containment system, otherwise known as a kennel, if you need one or you need many, you need to reach out to Horizon Structures. Horizon makes anything that you can think of, from mild to wild. You can customize their kennels from the ground up. And the best part is, when they are done, they will drive it to your location. They will set it on your pad, and you plug this thing in, and it is ready to add dogs to immediately. Anything that you can think of in a kennel, Horizon Structures can make it happen. We've seen them. They are beautiful. If you go to Horizon Structures and check them out on the socials, if you can call them 888-447-4337, or check them out online, horizonstructures.com. They always have something cool going on. Thank you guys so much. Stay tuned. We have so many amazing things happening.
Ted and I talk a lot. We both have had dogs come in from Europe, and I'm doing boxes and he's doing his detection, and a dog that comes in and starts biting the box or something. Oh my God, what a pain in the ass.
Yep. And you know, I talked with Steve White about that last night, or 2 nights ago. Everything runs together.
Yeah, sure.
And who we got on the show before. I love Steve. And we're talking about how those dogs, especially the Eastern European dogs, are not raised to train. They're raised to pass the selection process.
Yeah.
And part of that, and the way that they demonstrate hunt, is by allowing the dog to dig and self-discover a reward that is hidden. And that they do it so many times because they want to see videos. They want to see videos. They want to see videos, right? So they get used to doing that and getting out and blasting everything in a bite suit. And so the dogs just come in just wacky, out of control, because that's what we want to see, right? Drive. And that ends up creating some artifacts, especially when dogs come in, especially if they have a very good reward history, even if it's a self-reward history through self-discovery, that is impossible to break. So with detection or with explosive dogs, early on, I will ruthlessly correct aggressing on odor.
For sure.
And I mean, like, I will ruthlessly correct it. Now, these dogs are strong enough that they can handle it. Like, I'm not going to correct a Papillon like that. That's in this AKC Nose Work.
Right.
Swinging around like a potato on a leash or something.
I wouldn't have a business if I did that to Mrs. Papillon.
So where does corrections in nose work for you land? Where do you land on doing obedience corrections when it comes to detection?
Yeah, coming from working dogs, where I trained 624 of them. My dad was a police canine handler out in Washington County, Oregon. I grew up, choking them and doing all the same things that we all did that was wrong when we were doing it. So flipping over to the pet dog side, I use a lot of, you didn't do the right decision, you get no reinforcement for it. So it's a lot of those types of things where we withhold reinforcement. You get no feedback from the handler because you did the wrong thing. The only time you get feedback is when you did the thing right.
So waiting them out until they find the right thing.
It's a lot of patience. It's, as a couple of you have said it throughout this, that taking the time to let the dog figure it out.
Yeah.
Letting them guide themselves.
I just got a text from my daughter. O.J. Simpson died.
Really?
Oh,
yeah.
Good.
Pour out a little water for
For the homies, man.
for OJ, who spent all these years looking for the real killer, I'm sure.
That's right.
On the golf course.
They found him.
White Broncos.
Right. They found him in the
They
mirror.
got him.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Ford's like, damn it. We sold so many. So is there real money in this pet detection training?
Yes. The first and foremost, I think the ladies, because 90% of my demographic is probably women 30 to 65 that have competed in other dog sports. And so unlike a lot of us, when we first started this thing, because your story, I started in 92.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So for me, like when you start thinking about this as a working dog guy, I'm 18 years old. I just graduated high school and I don't know much about dogs other than catching my dad's Schützen dogs when I was 11, right? Like, so that kind of stuff. And so I didn't compete. I showed up. Uncle Sugar issued me a dog and said, go to work, you. And so it was a lot different. Whereas these ladies have been in sports since they were 10. And they've competed in multiple different sports. And so sometimes the dogs are even older. Like the dogs come to Scent Work. They're a 9-year-old dog that can't do agility anymore, but it's a solid dog. And so, yeah, there's Though not only are they smart,
Yeah.
but they got a lot of money to spend on it, and they will not play around. They're serious.
I've heard that. Yeah, they show up on time for
Oh
training.
God,
They spend money. They got an 11-year-old beagle, but that bitch works like
It's a
crazy.
champ,
Yeah, that's amazing.
and they're really serious about it.
So Torchlight Nose Work. That'll be your next website.
That's what's up.
One of my trainers, Bailey, she just got her. She's now an evaluator for the AKC Good Citizen thing, and she's wanted to do the nose work. So my staff does AKC stuff. They do bite night. I participate in the PSA with my staff and with select clients on the sports side, but I'm pretty much exclusively on the law enforcement and the PSA side. My staff has kind of taken on the AKC stuff and the AK. So I want to encourage Bailey and Jade, my staff, to I'm like, if you want to do it, like, you're more than welcome to use the facility. Like, we'll book it through we'll run it through so you guys can just run the class. And I think it would help them because they're very young. I mean, nobody's going to hire me. I mean, they would, but
Sure.
I mean, one, they probably don't want me to work for them. They probably couldn't afford me. And two, like, I obviously don't know everything, but I think before this AKC stuff, it was difficult to learn how to train detection work. I mean, and it's a very nuanced, everything we do with the patrol dogs and with the police detection dogs, no matter what the odors are, is a very nuanced thing, right? And the only way to learn that nuance is by time online,
Right.
And you can't get a lot of time online, especially if you don't have a lot of experience with dogs that are just serial killers that also would have them find narcotics.
Sure.
Right. And like, I won't let some of my new handlers get anywhere near those dogs. So I think it's a good way for new handlers or new trainers to get exposed to it. And the one thing that I like is I've dealt with some of the AKC people, and I've learned some things from them about like how we prep, like not necessarily the imprinting phase, because I do it differently, but how they prep these dogs for searching. And when we do the selection process, like, we don't ever wash a dog for its inability to locate target odor. We just wash them for not looking for it.
Oh, right.
Right. So that has helped me put into perspective, because I watch like Chihuahuas and Papillons and Beagles and like all these non-traditional, what I would consider non-traditional dogs. And then somebody who I consider a mentor was like, she looked at me when I said, I'm shocked that these dogs are doing it. And she's like, why? They're dogs. I'm like, fuck, you're right. I know. You're right. They're dogs. And I get it. They're not working dogs though. And so,
So what do you find training that the civilian ladies are better at than training a rookie working dog guy?
The good ones, and like everything else, there's always that part. So the 70% of the people that I deal with, they are open to training right off the bat, because they've been through lots of bad trainers. One of the first barriers, to be completely honest, is getting over me being a dude and being a working dog guy.
Okay.
They ask questions. You know that.
Well, I'm covered in tattoos and I cuss a lot and listen to loud music, and so I'm not the demographic.
Sure.
AKC, but yeah, I get it. Like I understand.
Get over here, Linda. Quit fucking around. Stop being weird.
Exactly.
That's exactly it. Like, they don't appreciate that very often. But at the same time, like, they're so open to different techniques. They're very into the science. But at the same time, like you guys were saying, like, look, like, when you see that Papillon that shows up at the building, that dog has been doing this life with that handler for a long time. And so they live with these dogs. They will drive anywhere for trials. We think about them being soft. Dude, they'll stand out in this weather that's going on outside here in South Carolina right now and work harder than some of our professional handlers.
I like it.
Because they'll pull their dog back in the car, some of our professional friends. And so it's just a really interesting dynamic.
Sometimes with working dog handlers, you have a captive audience. So you can kind of get shitty with them because they have no choice.
They have to listen to you.
Right.
Yeah.
They're being paid to listen to me.
Yep.
Right.
Whereas these ladies pay to come listen to us.
Yeah.
It's a completely different
Yeah, it's a whole different thing, right? Like, especially the ones that are voluntold. I hate those people that are voluntold.
You're the only. I did a guy from a real small department. I had him and his dog come through. I go, why you? Because he was horrible. I go, why you? He goes, well, we have the chief, we have a lieutenant, we have a sergeant, and me. So I was it. And I go, do you want to be a handler? He goes, well, I'm afraid of dogs and I'm allergic to them.
Oh, great
I'm like,
choice.
Good. Yeah, he lasted, I don't know, he was the worst. He got out and bit a civilian. Him and the chief tried to cover it up, got caught and fired.
Oh,
And then he went to another small department, East Cleveland, and got indicted. So
natural selection is trying to occur. And
heading on up there. So I want to point out something we keep forgetting to ask or mention, that the if you watch episodes that come out from this and the episodes from the Police Canine Radio guy, it's going to look exactly the same because we are using their thing. And I see them standing outside there because they're going to record an episode. Right. Where can guys get a hold of you? Like, where can people, if they want to talk to you about this type of stuff?
Well, yeah, so I'm like all of us now, whether we like to or not. I'm on Instagram and I'm on Facebook. I'm not on any of the others because China owns TikTok.
Yes, finally.
Exactly. Is that out loud? I'm sorry. Right. So I'm on those. I have an 18-year-old daughter that helps me manage my website on Wix.
Oh.
So that's what she's going to go do in college when she graduates. So that's what's up. So yeah, I'm in Burlington County, New Jersey. So that's South Jersey. It's the pork roll part of New Jersey, not the Taylor ham.
Right.
And so not too far outside of Philly, about 45 minutes outside of Philly.
Do you do like seminars and stuff like that?
I do. Yeah. So far I've done the only out of the Northeast seminar I did was in New Mexico, Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Okay.
But I would love to come out and do that.
Yeah. What's the website?
IntegrityNoseWorx.com with an X.
With an X. That's what I was going to say. I didn't think it was.
We'll put it in the show.
And that's on all the socials of the same
all the
thing?
socials. Yep. It's all out there.
Well, I appreciate it. I know this is a quick one, but I'm glad you popped in, man.
Guys, thank you so much for this.
Have
really
you in
appreciate
there.
it. Listen to your show all the time and freaking love hearing you guys.
Right.
Excellent.
Cool. We won't hold that against you. Take care. Thank you.
You got your reasons, I got my wants. Still got that feeling, but I'm too old to die young now.
Working Dog Radio has graciously granted permission to use this music by Brother Deeg. Be sure to check him out at brotherdeeg.blogspot.com. That's spelled brother, DEGE.blogspot.com. Be sure to buy him a beer at Amazon, iTunes, or CD Baby, or anywhere you stream your music. Working Dog Radio was edited and co-produced by Alicia Brandt.